Hello everybody. This weekend our long-awaited Stewardship Sunday is coming. So the 8th of March is our Stewardship Sunday at St. Luke's, and if you've been around in the last couple of weeks, that shouldn't be a surprise to you. We've been telling you that it's on its way, and in the run-up we've been spending some time thinking together a little bit about money and trying to demystify some of the things around how church finance works, what it takes to sustain a community like ours. And so Ian and I have been announcing from the front of the church on various topics regarding money. And on Sunday just gone, we had our third and final instalment. And then in the week, we've been parroting that back. I've been parroting that back for anybody who missed it. So that's what this is. It's the third and the final video. It's the final in a run-up of videos heading towards Stewardship Sunday, which is this Sunday. So last week when Ian and I spoke together on Sunday, I started by reflecting a little bit on the nature of what it is we are doing. Last week, Ian spoke to us a little bit about where our money goes and told us that actually there is a gap between what is coming in and what is going out. And so it's an important moment for us to consider what we're going to do, how we are going to respond to that, and what the church will look like going into the future, what decisions we'll need to make as we go forward together. But I wanted to start this Sunday by trying to think a little bit about what it is that we're doing. I said in week one, I know when churches talk about money, sometimes that makes people feel nervous. But I said, don't worry, because what I'm not trying to do is get you to part with your money if you don't want to do. We're not trying to persuade people to do something that they don't want to do. And so on Sunday just gone, the way I framed it was this isn't a fundraising push. We're not trying to all dig deep to fill a gap, even though there is a gap to be met. But that's not the primary way that I want to look at this. The primary way that I want to look at this is as a question of discipleship. This is about us thinking about how we live and organise our lives to, in this case, put our money where our mouth is, in the things that we believe in. The church is, we said this in week one, the church is person-shaped through and through. We are largely funded by people's generosity, and that's a good thing, because the church, of course, is the people. And so the fact that the church is funded through the generosity of people's hearts as they open up their hands is a really wonderful thing. And that's what this is about. This is about asking a question, of what St. Luke's has been able to be for you in your life, and whether or not we are ready or able to support that also financially in this time of need. This is a question of responding to what God has done in our lives collectively by in this case financial giving, a financial response. And I said on Sunday, I want to make this really clear also. I want to just decouple those ideas a little bit, because I don't want you to hear, as I say that if you are not giving, then you don't appreciate St. Luke's. If you're not giving financially, or you're not giving a lot financially, then you don't appreciate St. Luke's. I said on Sunday, and it's very true, I would very, very much like to give more to St. Luke's. It is my desire, and I'm sure that's true for lots of us, as we hear this statistic of like, there's a gap that needs to be filled, and my church, it needs my support, it needs my help. I'm sure for lots of us we go, I wish that I could do something about this, because this place is precious. But there are also, real life constraints on us as well. And so as we ask you to think about how you respond to this, I just want to make it really, really clear that if you're thinking, but I can't give anymore, I'm giving absolutely as much as I possibly can, then there's no guilt, there's no shame, and we absolutely trust you to make the decision that's right for you. That being said, the question is, if St. Luke's has shaped you, if it has nourished you, if we have baptised your children, if we have buried your loved ones, if we have been involved in your life in any of these ways and helped support you, there's an opportunity here to invest in that thing, to invest in this community, to invest in this church, to invest in this gathered body that represents Christ in the world, in order that we might continue to draw deeply from it, that others might be able to be welcomed in, and that in the future St. Luke's would continue to exist and continue to be this force for good in the world. And so that is the ask. And on Sunday, Ian just highlighted, I suppose, a couple of ways that we can think about responding as we come to this Stewardship Sunday. So we gave out a letter which details kind of lots of the things that we've been sharing the last few weeks and highlights a few ways that you might want to consider responding. But Ian just gave a few of those. In the newsletter that this video is going out with, you can see a copy of that letter. So do have a read of that if you haven't seen it already. But let me look. Ian pointed out that it might just be, if you're giving already to St. Luke's, this might just be a good time to review your giving. And he said he knows full well that actually for some people that could even mean going, I need to take a step back. I need to take some giving down. And we are completely open to that because as I said, we trust you to respond in the way that's appropriate for you and your situation. Ian shared an example of someone from the PCC who said that they'd been spring cleaning their bank accounts, that they'd been through their bank accounts, and they'd noticed there were quite a few direct debit standing orders going out that weren't really current with where they were in their lives anymore. Some stuff that maybe they didn't know what it was, or like, I don't really want to support that anymore, and so they gave a clear through of those. And so it might be that there's some renegotiation in your bank accounts which could go to supporting St. Luke's. Ian said that perhaps you've been at St. Luke's for a while, but you haven't started giving yet, and maybe now is a time. Maybe now is a good time to start giving, to start contributing to the community. He also, Ian really made himself available as a treasurer, and as am I. If you want to talk about giving and how it works for you and your situation, then please do come and talk to us. I hope that's really, really clear. And as I say, we don't want to have a conversation that's ultimately pressuring you. But if you have questions and if you have things that you want to talk about with regards to this giving thing, then please do come and talk to myself or Ian about it. We'd really love to. Ian also mentioned that you might be in a position to give a one-off gift, a larger donation that is one-off, rather or any size, frankly, but something that's not a standing donation, not something that's going to be new regular giving, and that of course can be very, very helpful in church finance. But Ian also mentioned that now might not be the best time, and said that you might want to pledge to give at some point in the future, and of course that's really helpful to us if we can know about that. So there's an opportunity here, maybe as part of your response, to pledge something in the future, whether that's an ongoing recurring payment or a one-off gift, if that's what you wanted to give. And then Ian also mentioned legacies on Sunday. He spoke about what it means to leave something behind to honour the church after you've died, and he said it rightly so. It's a little bit of a morbid topic, isn't it? We don't talk about it a lot, but he pointed out that in the past few years, St. Luke's has been enormously propped up by people who reflected on the impact that it had had in their lives and said, I want to give to this for its furtherance in the world. So that's another thing. And actually, in a few weeks' time on the blog, Ian's gonna write for us all about the kind of ins and outs of legacies, because certainly for me it's not something I've ever thought about, and so I don't fully grasp all the details of it. So if you're thinking about legacies but you're feeling a bit confused about that, then do look out for that in a couple of weeks, where Ian's going to really try and spell out what that means, how it works, all of the rest of it. So look forward to that. And then the final thing that Ian pointed out is that money is not the only way to strengthen our finances. You might have expertise, you might have experience with fundraising or with supporting us in maximising what we can get out of our property. And so this is also a really good time to think about that. If you have abilities to host one-off fundraising events, or you have ideas about that, we also would love to hear about that, because as Ian said in week 2, this is going to take not just one thing, it's going to take us to think about various strands across the life of the church in order to secure the future of this church. we're not talking about tomorrow. We're talking about what it means for this church to continue to be a presence in this community, maybe for the next 100 years, maybe for the next 200 years, which is an amazing thing to think about. So these are the ways that we're asking you to think about responding, just for example, but whatever it is that's sparking in you, we would love to hear from you. As I said, the giving letter went out last week. If you didn't get one, they're going to be available this Sunday. There's one attached in the email that this video is going out with, and also then we're asking you to think about returning that to us at some point across the next month to let us know what you're thinking, where you are, and we'll see where we get together. Just to reiterate, the strap line for this week is, if St. Luke's has been a place that has nourished you, what we're inviting you is to think about investing in that, freely giving financially to support the life of this community, that we might see it flourish in the years to come. So thank you so much for listening. As I've said, please, any questions, do come and speak to myself or Ian. We'll be so happy to talk to you, and I hope to see you very soon. Go well.